Welcome back to the second series of the day here on the ASUS ROG DreamLeague Season 3, Flipside Tactics versus Power Rangers. I'm OD Pixel. I'm joined by the pineapple to my watermelon, the Usher to my Justin Bieber. It is, of course, Draskell. And Draskell, we're well into the draft. Let's get ourselves into the picks and bans. And Draskell, give us the old lowdown on the showdown.
So Flipside decide that they, wow, how do I keep rhyming words with their team like every single time unintentionally? Okay, so they don't want to deal with the tree. They take it out. Understandable. It's kind of annoying when you have a hero like Troll who doesn't want to make Manta. Like very often you see like the SNY, the Scotty build, and BKB on top of that. You just don't want to have a hero who can disable you through BKB. They take out the tree. Makes sense. They also pick up a Tidehunter for the second game in a row. Hopefully crit his millisecond off-second Ravage timing. That was pretty game-losing, unfortunately for them. Kind of hurt them a lot. But Power Rangers going with something a little bit different this time around. They get the Venge, where I think Rise was actually playing it from Flipside in the previous game. And we see a Bat, who is a hero that we've seen, I think, once or twice here at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague, but it hasn't really been that prevalent. So it's interesting to me that they start off with a hero like that, and Flipside in response, they take out the Disruptor.
And what's interesting as well, the Juggernaut's picked up. And that is a hero that, I mean, pub games, we see pretty much every other game, but in terms of picks and bans, we've not seen him that regularly. I mean, is there something wrong with Jug at a competitive level? Is there a reason why he's not favored as much as other heroes like the Troll and the Sniper?
I think it's just due to the fact that Troll is a lot easier to work around as a team because he offers you such a great teamfight utility and just having the battle trance that you can just mow down Roshan and you can get a tower for free. Now, Juggernaut kind of functions similarly to what a Troll does because he can actually go into Roshan, kill it at any stage in the game if he's left alone, which is more of like a pubby thing to do, I guess, than a competitive match because people can just sense, it's like, oh, he's gone, he's probably Roshing, and then you just fight around that. But Juggernaut offers a nice variant of what Troll does is that he continues the push by having Healing Word, whereas Troll just makes the push really damn strong and offers a lot more teamfight potential. And then you also have to consider that Juggernaut with the Omni Slash, you can isolate some heroes out. You don't have to fight the Juggernaut or the Troll Warlord toe-to-toe. You don't have to worry about getting bashed if you just Omni him and you find him alone. So there are some pros and cons to the hero, but I still think he's very good.
We'll see how effective he is this game. Final ban there from Flipside, banning out the AA, just in case it was, I guess, picked up in tandem with the Batrider. Very nice, one of those heroes that can look for the global rotations and ganks with the blink into Lasso, hold someone in place nicely for the AA Ice Blast to connect. Flipside, they do pick up the Morphling, and with the Troll already in the game, do you think this is going to be the core Morphling? Because sometimes we do see it played in that support role, looking to max out the stun on the old Adaptive Strike. Final pick, though, for Power Rangers, they go with the Omni Knight.
Could just be a Morphling safe lane and Troll mid. And then you put the Tidehunter off lane, you can... Well, I was going to say you could pick a Wisp, but then I remembered Wisp is literally banned every single game. Never get to see that hero. But you could pick another support. You could go for a dual roam and just try to gank the Shadow Fiend. You could make the Omni Knight just sit mid, or make the Venge just sit mid, and then just try to trade farm, I guess, during the early game. But Morphling's interesting because he's one of those heroes that's very hard to kill, but he doesn't really come online in terms of overall damage output until you have 2 or 3 items. So a lot of people like Lincoln's. Some people go for the Manta, or some people go rush E-Blade, you know. But it's not a matter of if you just get a naked E-Blade, because a lot of the times, if you go the item first, your Adaptive Strike's not even going to be maxed, and then your combo damage is like, it's mediocre. And plus you have no mana regen. So if your combo doesn't kill, then you have to go back to base if you don't have a bottle. So we'll see what they go for. And it's just going to be a Lich. So we're going to be seeing a dual lane mid. I'm almost assured of that just by that pick. And then a dual safe lane and tied off.
Who do you think they'll send mid with the Lich in that situation? The Morphling. They'll put the Morphling mid. So I guess, Shashlo on this Shadow Fiend is not going to be a nice lane. I think every time we've seen a lane where they go up against a dual lane, it's not ended up well for the solo laner.
No, definitely not. And even if you put another hero mid, you're up against a Lich.
Yeah.
So the whole reason why last picking Lich in these types of games is really awesome is because no matter what, you put anything against a Lich in a dual lane, it will lose if you don't go for kills. And there's nothing really on the side of Power Rangers during the early game that forces an engagement. Like, how do they start a fight until the back gets a blink? What do they just walk at them? They don't have Spirit Breaker. They don't have anything to start any fights whatsoever. So I feel the support Lich pick for the mid is great. Flipside, I really like their draft this game in comparison to the first. Although going late against PR is still scary. I mean, Troll is one thing, but you also have to worry about GA. Then you have Batrider Lasso, which is very good during the later stages, being able to pull people that far out of position. Omni Slash and a Shadow Fiend. So there's a lot to worry about on both sides.
I mean, they've got the control of the Batrider with the Lasso.
Yeah.
But other than that, with the Omni, the Shadow Fiend, the Jug, then you've got the Magic Missile. Do you feel they've got enough control to deal with heroes like the Troll Warlord and the Morphling?
Well, it's not a matter of if they have the control, it's just they have the damage.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Venjor, you're going to have an Omni Knight heal, which again is pure damage. So it hits really hard. You lasso into a Purification and then like a Raise or something like that. In a fight, you can burst. Like there's no question about it. That PR have the capability of killing quickly. And from the way that things are looking right now, maybe we're not going to see that dual lane mid. Maybe they're content to just leave the Troll and just have the Tide with the Lich off lane. And this is still a very good choice because no matter where you put the Lich, he's going to win his lane.
Yeah.
That's the only purpose. So you're just arguing, do I want to win the lane against somebody else or do I just deny the first creep and then just go mid? Because you could deny the first creep in the off lane to help the Tide out and then leave and then go mid and try to help whoever is going to be sitting there.
We see this rotation straight round into the Dire jungle, but already the Dire did get that ward out, so they know exactly this rotation is happening. And well, Critney's standing there by the rune now. He decides it's the best time to back out as the team have got there. But anyway, we're into the second game of this best of three. Let's introduce the teams. It's Power Rangers up against Flipside. On the side of Power Rangers on the Radiant, we've got J4 on the Omni Knight. On the Vengeful Spirit will be Young Master King R. And in that core role, it's Ditchara on the Jug. And that will be an aggressive tri lane. Mid lane will be Shashlo on the Shadow Fiend. And on the solo safe lane, it will be Cheshire Cat. I'm OD Pixel. I'm joined by Draskell. Draskell, what are we seeing on the Dire side?
All right, so Dire side, first off, we're going to have that off-lane Tidehunter being played by Bland. He will be accompanied by Crit, who is playing on the Disruptor towards the middle lane. We're going to have Baby Knight playing on his Troll Warlord. And then top, we're going to have Rise playing that support Lich. And finally, Ace, who's going to be handling the Morphling.
Okay, and Ace needs to be careful here. There is a Magic Missile available. J4 with the wraparound. If they've got enough damage, if they want to go for it with the Purification and Magic Missile, maybe not enough. They decide not to pursue it too much. But so in terms of lanes, who's coming out on top this game?
It's interesting to me that PR decided to go for the aggro tri lane, but against the Lich, it makes a lot of sense. So the major thing about Lich is when you deny a creep every single wave, the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, well, I'm getting an experience lead and a gold lead just by virtue of denies, but you're also pushing your lane. So if you're against an aggro tri who can very easily tower dive you and you're intentionally getting your own lane back, you can see Ditchara, he's hitting the range creep, he's auto-attacking, he wants the lane to push. He wants to go behind the tower and try to dive for a kill. If they catch out the Lich but with a spin and a stun, he's dead. So this could be a very interesting way of running it.
And yeah, I guess as well, they've got this aggressive tri lane. Cheshire Cat here on the bottom lane, getting the stacks onto Crit. He's got 2 stacks of the Napalm at the moment. He is fairly low himself, and as Bland comes in with the Gush, he needs to back out, and maybe the Thunderstrike might find first blood. It looks like it will, and that's first blood there, going to the Disruptor.
Yeah, unfortunate that he ended up getting caught out like that. And you don't expect a Bat to die in a solo lane, especially to pretty much just a Disruptor. It's kind of uncommon for that to happen. And as we were talking about wanting to go for dives here, top lane PR, they go for the pull. The other cool thing about off lane for Radiant is that you can do this, whereas Dire off lane cannot pull anything. So you either contest the pull or you block it, pretty much, are the choices that you make. And this is going to be a double wave here, so they auto-attacked it down. They are setting up for a dive. It should be fairly obvious to Flipside that this is happening, so Rise has to play super far back or he's just going to get caught.
Keeping himself well behind the tower, and as you said, here comes the creep wave. Ditchara maybe thinking about going through J4 with the wraparound and straight towards the Lich. They've managed to force the Lich away. Now Ace is alone. It's going to be a hard kill. He's fairly tanky at this moment. Bottom lane, Tidehunter might not be as hard of a kill as he's got 6 stacks of Napalm as he walks through the fire. He's going to maybe be okay. He gets very low. Will be able to get out. Rise will not be as lucky though on the top lane as the tri lane finds their first kill. And King Art will just force Ace back and away from the lane. Dire structures will be fortified, but the damage starting to come through now onto the top tier 1. And this aggressive tri lane living up to the name. And Ace, he's struggling to find a lot from this. Coming with the punches onto Ditchara, there is a Magic Missile available, and Ace is fairly low. This could be a kill if they decide to go for it. They're holding back the Magic Missile because there's going to be a TP in. Maybe they feel that they can get the kill without the Magic Missile. Ace, he zips out. Now in comes Crit with the Disruptor, Thunderstrike onto the Jug, and Jug, Ditchara is trying to turn and fight. He might have the damage here to do it against this Disruptor. The right click's coming through. There's your Magic Missile. Ditchara gets caught out by the tower, though. Wave of Terror onto Crit. Crit duking it through the trees, trying to hide away from this Venge. And Crit, are you going to be able to live through this? Nah, he doesn't. He goes down at the end of the day to King R. But King R could be in trouble now as Rise comes in with the backup of Ace. Magic Missile onto the Morphling. Wait, with the Purification, can they find this kill? No, he's morphing into Strength. He should be able to get away. King R fairly low. J4 just turning and fighting against Rise. we go. You see the blast onto J4 and Ace and Rise. They could chase it down. No, Ace is going to let Rise chase it down on his own. Omni Knight, one more right click should do the job, and it will. That's a kill for the side of F3. In comes the Blade Fury from Ditchera. He's morphing to strength as hard as he can, but he's out of mana. This is going to be the morphling almost certainly going down. One more right click should do the job. Ditchera, he's in a bad place again. This time he's got the healing ward, but the right clicks from the tower bring in below. The creeps might finish him off. In fact, Rise salves up, heads into the tree line. He has got another blast available. I believe he should have the mana to do so, but the Jukes, he gets out. There is a frost blast, but with the healing ward heal, Ditchera should be able to get away. There's one right click. He's still alive. He's healing back quicker than the damage output of the Lich. And well, that was a bit of an exciting couple of minutes there.
What is going on in this game?
Who came out on top there, Draskell?
I really think that PR are probably fine with that.
Yeah.
DataRock came back, he got a kill. He's not farming amazingly, but if you look at Ace, he's only got 7 CS and he's 0-1, whereas your Juggernaut at least has 2 kills to his name in terms of gold, so that's nice. But the start of that all was because King R was so convinced that his magic missile was going to be disjointed by a waveform that he just didn't cast it. He was like juking it to try to get Ace to waveform. He's like, please waveform so I can stun you. And he just didn't do it. So he casually just walked away until the Juggernaut died, and then he waveformed to safety and ended up, I think, dying a little bit later on. But all in all, I still think that PR probably a little bit happy with that. The thing is, their Tidehunter is totally free farming, and their Troll is at 30 CS. So Baby Knight's doing well mid. Their offlaner is doing amazingly well. So I think, I'm sorry, I mean Flipsid3, not PR. But yeah, their offlaner and their mid lane are going very well.
All back rider TP's into lane, but isn't under the vision of Disruptor. But Disruptor decides to go for the glimpse. No, he thinks that Cheshire Cat's been in too long for the glimpse to be effective. But you're right indeed, mid lane, Baby Knight doing pretty well up against this SF. And with the phase boots, looking for the slow, maybe wants to try and dive if Shadow Fiend is caught out of position here. Shashlo backing up, looking to stack up the jungle to continue his farm. And Batrider on this bottom lane really hasn't been having a good time at all.
Well, he was against dual lane, then he died to a Disruptor, pretty much 1v1, which is not the dream. And then all of a sudden he's against a Tide who has arcane boots and a stick. So it's really hard to dive Tide, especially once he has Ravage. Usually you just want to try to stack as many napalms as you can, just go for the dive, even under the tower, because your damage output is great. And if you push the wave out, you have a situation where the creeps are tanking for you, and you don't even have to auto-attack the hero, so you don't draw tower aggro, and you just dive in with Firefly. But if the Tide has Ravage, then the creep wave also dies, and then you get targeted by the tower, and then you can die. So no longer is it possible for Cheshire Cat to really do a whole heck of a lot in this lane. He has to rely on his jungling capabilities to bring himself back.
I have TP Juggernaut down here. Is this really the safer lanes for him to farm in at this point?
Yeah, it can be. It's not like he's going to die to the Tide. It's just annoying to get Anchor Smash and trying to go for CS that way. If you can just juke out the Anchor Smashes, it should actually be fine. J4 is eating some harassment here in the top lane.
Yeah, repels just to make sure there isn't a glimpse coming through. Mid lane still looking at the last hits. Shashlo with 46 up against the 42 of the Troll. So still fairly balanced. Both heroes farming up at a very, very good pace.
The weird thing is actually that they both have so much CS at 7 minutes. It's not often that both like mid players get that much CS as King R getting caught out here.
Yeah, Bland does have the Ravage available, doesn't need it though. The right click's coming through. Lich will find that kill onto the Venge. 4-3 for Flipside. All in all, a very balanced game at this moment in time, but would you kind of edge towards the fact that Flipside are coming off better off the back of this laning stage?
Definitely. Their cores are getting more out of the laning phase. Like that Tide getting so much farm is amazing for them, because if he gets a blink early, imagine the impact of having an early blink dagger against a team that has no form of initiation at all. It just makes them play a little bit more passive. So if they're just sitting by their towers, you can get free Roshans off that. You can just go to Roshan straight away with your blink Tide, knowing that the enemy team with no blink on the bat and a low-level Omni Knight, that there's not really a reasonable way to stop it. Like, how do you stop it if Baby Knight gets his Helm of the Dominator up and they just go into the pit with a Ravage? Like, how do you fight that?
It's indeed going to be a very, very tricky one for the side. Ditchera now does have the level 6 online, the Omni Slash available. Ace, he's out of mana, and Shadow Fiend's got a haste rune. Ace could be in a lot of trouble here. This could be a nice kill for Shashlo. Ace with the jukes around the tree line, trying to juke it up. One more right click should do the job. There comes the Baby Knight, trying to turn it around onto the SF, but he's still got the haste. Maybe looking to turn it around, do some damage to the Disruptor. The bashes come through. There's the repel to help out the SF, making sure that Crit can't do too much, but Baby Knight, he'll be able to still work away at this SF, getting fairly low. Couple more punches, one more is needed. There's the glimpse glimpse, bringing him back. Shadow Fiend will fall, and they might be able to find J4 as well on this Omni Knight, getting fairly low. They should be able to find the kill. Bottom lane, though, Rise getting caught out by DCE, Mr. Bat, and Vengeful Spirit. 2 for 3 at the end of the day, but Flipside coming out on top.
Unfortunate removal of the haste rune there. Not great. It was, I don't know how much longer it had left on it, but if you get stuck in melee range of a troll and you have repel on after the heal had already gone out, like I don't think that heal restored any health to Shackler whatsoever, and it was just like a heal to do damage. So he couldn't man fight. If he had waited a little bit longer to make sure that the purification had effectiveness in healing and damage, there would have been a bigger health differential between the two heroes, and they probably could have gotten a kill on the troll. But because of that, Shackler realized, oh, I gotta run. I actually can't fight this anymore. And running from a troll warlord, yeah, it doesn't usually work.
What's he got on the curry now coming out to it? Is it just the Morbid Mask? No, it's the complete Helmet Dominator and a band of Elven Skin as well. So 9.5 minutes in, Troll with 5.3k net worth, certainly having a very, very good time and starting to break away from the Shadow Fiend thanks to that last little engagement.
Just what happens when you end up dying, you know? You give away a kill when you have a lot of net worth in the team, and suddenly seems like a much easier game for Baby Knight. And the Troll matchup versus Shadow Fiend in general, I know why people pick Troll, or excuse me, pick Shadow Fiend against him is because the damage reduction that you get from Requiem is fantastic. He's a natural mech carrier, and when you have a Juggernaut on your team already, you have Healing Ward and mech, so your 5-man is great. And that's another reason why the AA ban, even though Flipside took it out, actually worked in favor of PR. So they can get that Juggernaut Healing Ward down, and they can get the Purification, and they can buy the mech, and they can do these great 5-men.
Oh,
so.
Baby Knight with an Invis Rune. He's deciding who to go
Did J4
on.
notice, though? That's the question. Was he walking to the left, or was he trying to walk down? Because if he tried to walk down, he would have immediately realized that there was an Invis there, or an Invis hero.
Yeah, they're certainly sticking together, so maybe you are indeed right. And they know that the Troll is around under the cover of the Invis Rune. And that's going to mean, yeah, Troll's not going to be able to find anything here, so he backs out. Batrider does have the Blink. Tidehunter as well, picking it up as well. So we're seeing both Blinks pretty much come online at the same time, even though Tide had a much better time in lane.
The recovery skills of a Batrider can never be underestimated. Just how quickly you can farm off of having your jungle to yourself for even 5 minutes, maybe less. You just get to your item straight away, and then you do this, which is kill the core of the other team. Oh, nice glimpse.
He's revealing, but there's the Disruptor Glimpse. Baby Knight gets swapped out. Magic Missile, Ravage catching 3 of them, and with the Chain Frost as well, brings down the SF. They find Omni Knight as well, and now Bat could be in trouble. He gets the Blink off, and he will be out of there. Flip side, they lose the Troll. They do lose the Lich as well, and Kinga, he's going to be able to get out of this one. So Venge actually doing a little bit of a cleanup job there, managing to make the engagement a 2-for-2 trade.
A lot of ultis exchanged there as well. I mean, there was no Requiem from the Shadow Fiend because he got Ravage into Chain Frost, so he just exploded, more or less. So really nice counter initiation coming out there from Flipside. But a 2-for-2 isn't the worst thing. I think Baby Knight dying is pretty bad, though. Like, you don't want a Troll to die. You always want him to play from ahead. Whereas Shadow Fiend has really nice recovery skills. You can see he's got 89 CS at 12 minutes into the game. And that's with the Batrider being in the jungle for a while. So he's got his completed mech now. And the next time they take a team fight and they have GA up, I don't think they're going to be given that kind of counter initiation. Because they went for the play right after the backup Blink and bottom lane.
Oh,
we're going to see J4.
Yeah, they throw down the Static Storm. They make sure that he is not getting out of there. And that is a nice kill and a nice bit of gold for Baby Knight on that Troll Warlord. Keeping him in the game, keeping him pretty much level with the Shadow Fiend, who's just got a slight lead in terms of net worth. And in the jungle now, well, they see the Tidehunter with that ward, but they're not going to go for him. Top lane, Ditcheral with the healing ward, trying to pressure down the tier 1. It's fairly low. Does have the backup of the Vengeful Spirit on the sidelines, and Ditcheral has got the Omni Slash available here as well. Decides to go in. Tidehunter is there, but there is, of course, no Ravage, and Juggernaut will find the last CS there on the tower.
If that Morphling Illusion got the deny, I would have been extremely sad for PR. Would have been pretty awful. Another smoke up here, or at least a rotation.
Yeah, straight onto Baby Knight with the Blink and the lasso.
Nice.
Baby Knight getting bursted down straight away. The final punch flying through there from Shashlo. Another very nice pick off onto this Troll Warlord, and Bat with the Blink. He knows what the priority is, and he's finding the Troll every time.
I love the fact that as soon as he gets the Blink Dagger, like on cooldown, he's just finding lassos. A lot of Batrider players are, I would say, almost too concerned about farming. So they'll get like 1 kill and they'll be like, okay, cool, I got a kill. I'm just going to go farm like my 4-staff, or I'm going to farm a Yules or something like that, or even a BKB at some stage in the game. But I enjoy that he's just going in, you know. He doesn't ever want to back off. And Cheshire Cat is just, he's looking for the gusto, and they find the tier 1 tower off of that. So PR looking to be in a pretty reasonable shape. The 3, I guess you could say, cores of Flipside are still doing extremely well. This troll, though, has been stunted pretty heavily. Like, he's dying twice in a row now, or has died twice in a row. And that means that his item progression is slowed. That means no Roshan for free, because the aggression coming out from PR is stopping them from being able to get him inside of the pit.
I mean, it was about a minute ago, he was 400 gold behind. Now he's over, well, coming up to 2k gold behind, as we see Shadow Fiend really breaking away now. 9 to 10 on the board. Cheshire Cat working on that 4 staff, has the staff of Wizardry. He's very close to picking up the Ring of Regen. Bottom lane, Troll finds himself a haste stream. Roshan is indeed up, but Flipside not looking to take it as of yet. Just heading to the Ancients, the Troll. He's got to stack up, and he's going to look to clear those as quickly as he can. J4, is that a Midas recipe? No, it's the Soul Ring. Okay, good. Just picking up the Soul Ring here on this Omni Knight, whose growth's definitely been stinted. Only 1,600 net worth, 14.5 minutes in. But I guess with the Omni, all you're really kind of worried about is getting him in the fight with the Guardian Angel.
The chase, he's dead. Goodbye. Giving the farm priority to Omni can sometimes be a nice thing, because having Aghanim's GA is crazy good. The biggest issue that the Omni is going to have this game is being in the right position to be able to get all of his spells off. Is okay, yeah, goodbye, Troll Warlord. Or, excuse me.
What was he? I don't know. He saw the TP in and he was very low, but Ditchara tries to go ham.
Maybe he just...
doesn't work.
He just threw his hands up to the sky and said, now's my time, take me, you know? It's just all over for him. But
well, that's maybe a little bit questionable. King Ash, Ashlow, and J4 are there, though, perhaps with the recovery push. Seeing if they can get this tier 1 down in the next creep wave. But still 10 to 11 without the Juggernaut. And a little bit of a risky place to look for the fights. Shadow Fiend, the farm still looking very good. Yasha now complete on top of the mechanism. But Ace as well on this Morphling. He's got 5k net worth. What kind of items are we seeing on the Morphling so far? He's got the Drums of Endurance and the Aquila. What does he need to be going for this game? Are we still just going to see him go for the Lincoln Sphere against the Bat?
I don't know if... Lincoln's is really good against Bat, don't get me wrong. It's a great item to be able to stop the initiation, but you have to assume at some point that Bat's going to get Force Staff, and he's going to have Force Staff way before that Lincoln's is done. So the way that he's farming right now, I guess he is just going to finish up his treads, and if he wants to go for a straight-up E-Blade, I still think that's okay too. You just have to play it in a different way. If you don't burst somebody on the side of PR, you're going to have to worry about GA. You're not always going to find that great Ravage that locks 2 heroes right next to each other, so you can then follow it up with a Chain Frost. That's
Cheshire Cat gets glimpsed back. They do have the Disruptor and the Morphling here to try and find this kill, and Cheshire Cat is going to have to do something spectacular to get away from this. There's Blam with the Gush, cancelling any potential of blinking out. Does manage to buy out the 4 staff, though.
It's a good pickup, making sure that he gets it before he dies. Some extra value added to that, and TP bottom lane could be cancelled. No, he wants to go. All right.
Blam? Well, his ball's certainly bigger than his HP bar. He will get blown up straight away. TP in as well from the Disruptor. There is backup for the Morphling as well. Nice Static Storm catching out a couple here. But in comes the GA, actually only catches himself out and the creeps. So Shadow Fiend goes down, and J4, he's caught in the middle of it all. Baby Knight with the Troll Warlock Bashes can turn this one around with Ace. Ditchara, he's managed to find a couple of kills, trying to find crit on the Disruptor as well. Omni Knight goes down. He will find Disruptor, but Juggernaut goes down as well. It's a full team wipe. PR. That was a bit of a weird and
Did he just
Guardian
walk
Angel
through a kinetic field?
Did he?
Did he just walk through a kinetic? That was weird. Anyway, so I wish we had some Benny Hill music to cue for that team fight, because that was some of the clowniest team fighting I've ever seen. Like, J4 goes in, GA's 2 creeps and himself. He just walks, he's like, I'm helping! And then GA's absolutely nothing. I don't know. Well, either way, that was not really the best engagement from the side of PR. I love the fact that Shacklow, even though he was getting focused, kept running in to the enemy team. Like, he was like, you know what, I'm just going in. It doesn't even matter. I'm just going to run at them until I die. You know, space credit.
All right, we're going to
get a chance to watch this again.
What happened?
Okay. All right, let's check it out. Okay, so we're walking in. All right, we're chasing down the Tide. We're like, all right, sick, free kill. So then Disruptor TP's in, and he wants to start a team fight. I'm thinking, okay, this is a 3v1. We even got the Benny Hill. That amazing GA that hit those 2 creeps and absolutely nothing else that would have definitely saved the Shadow Fiend if he had just turned around to get a heal in the first place. Died with his mech off cooldown. And then he goes through he just walked through. He just cheated. He literally just walked through a kinetic field. Reported. VAC banned during the game.
Wow. Well.
All right.
It's still good for Flipside off the back of that.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, it was great.
Yeah.
That Disruptor TP'd in, had no business doing anything there. Ends up team wiping the enemy because for whatever reason the Shadow Fiend decided that he didn't want a purification anyway. Maybe they had an argument during the game and he didn't want his help. I can't really think of a reason why that happened that way, but it did.
They go for Roche, blink in, Lasso onto Baby Knight, Lich is here as well, doesn't have the Chain Frost available. Actually, no, he's already thrown it. It's bounced between the two of them on the back lines. Omni Slash comes through, it finds the Troll Warlord. That's a quick and easy pick off. PR, can they look for anything more? Static Storm onto Ditcherai, has the backup of the Morphling and Rise. Ditcherai getting fairly low, will get bursted down there by the waveform. There's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Troll actually brought back for this, heading straight back into the fight. Crit on the Disruptor, getting low, pops down a kinetic filler. We're going to see anyone run for it this time. No, J4, he hangs back. Troll coming in, trying to clear it, trying to get King R, goes straight on to King R. They're going on to J4. J4 is down, it's a double kill for the Morphling. Baby Knight, oh, the adaptive strike there from Ace across the tree line. Triple kill from the Morphling. Another very nice fight there for Flipside, and PR just falling apart.
All right, I don't think I've ever said this in a cast before, but J4, Omni Knight is not your hero. Like, Omni Knight he's just, all of his spells are missing. He's using it on the wrong targets. He GAs creeps. Like, he needs to learn from Dread. At least when Dread GA'd nothing, he still won the fight. Yeah. You know, he needs to get on that level. But Roshan here for Flipside, going to be awesome for them. Baby Knight, he's working his way towards probably his BKB now that the SNY is all finished up. And everything considered, they're in a pretty great shape. I really don't think that PR can afford to make any more ridiculous mistakes like they have been. I feel like that fight in of itself, just getting the Troll pick right away, should have guaranteed them winning that fight. And then they still managed to not win the fight.
I mean, late game. Troll, Morphling, core combination against the Jug Shadow.
It definitely is better.
Yeah.
Because in order for it to be equalized, J4 would have to have an Aghanims just so that the GA would offset the Troll ulti. Like, that's the way that you think of it. And you just hope that nobody on Flipside buys a Diffusal Blade before that time. And given the item progression of what Ace is going, I doubt he would have had the item. And I think he's probably the best person to buy it of anyone on Flipside. So I do feel like this is Flipside's game to lose at this point, even if the SF is pretty farmed, just because of the way that things have been going.
I mean, yeah, Yashlo, yeah, we can't forget the fact that he's doing very well. He's got the Manta on top of the mech and the Trez 21 minutes in. It's not bad at all. But whether it's enough, that is indeed another question. Troll, how's his farm progressing? What kind of stuff are we seeing on young Baby Knight? He's got these SNY and the Helm, 1600 gold in the bank as well. And looking at the Morphling as well, what was he able to finish off? Well, he might be able to finish off someone in the mid lane here. King R, Venge, out of position, out of town, and out of luck. Disruptor with the final punch there. And that's another kill there for Flipside. Off the back of that, they should be able to take a tower.
Everything is just a total disaster this game for PR. Like, how do they go from having such a solid laning phase to just complete catastrophe at every single turn? Please help me understand. I don't know. But they're going to go for the tier 2 here. They still have Aegis. They have Tide with Ravage up. They can easily fight into this. Even the Tide even has a Force Staff on top of the Blink Dagger now, so he can get as far in as he needs to be. PR taking the route of least resistance, which is basically rat. Try to kill towers if they can. Forcing a couple of TPs to each lane, so a nice move. Making sure that they're not going to get the tier 2. But I mean, that was the right call from Flipside to back, because if you lose 2 tier 2s for 1, it's not worth it no matter what stage in the game you're at.
Indeed, Nace on the old Morphling. Just go for the Manta Star. How's that complete? Getting that sent out at the moment. And still, I mean, it's the fact that we've got this Yashlo Shadow Fiend. He's got 12.5k net worth, but then straight behind him, Morphling and Troll, both on the 10k mark. And oh, the Chain Frost and the bashes! That's a dead Omni Knight. That's a dead Shadow Fiend. A double kill for the Troll, and that is kind of a oh, here we go again when you see that appear on the screen.
Pretty much. And even Ace gets a kill on the top lane onto the Juggernaut. They're going to use the lasso here, but it's not going to do much of anything. Crit wanted to go for the glimpse, but unfortunately he did not have vision. And I don't even think Ace had mana. No, he didn't. He couldn't even use Replicate, so.
Tier 2 goes down into the mid lane after those engagements. Flipside beginning to get more and more control of the map and really putting PR on the back foot. 23.5 minutes in, and they've still got the tier 1 to take on the top lane, which they'll be heading straight for. And at half health, they could just tank it up and go straight for it with the Battletrons. That's more gold into their pockets. Looking at the net worth graphs now, let's have a look, young Master Wepass. There we go, 7.5k lead for the side of Flipside and coming up to 10,000 in terms of XP. So it's looking really, really good for Flipside this game.
I don't know what PR can do outside of defend the base. That's the best option that they have of winning. In terms of experience, I would assume that PR are probably a little bit ahead in playing the late game, so maybe they want to try to just defend with their bat, get a couple of nice pickoffs, and force a couple of bad engagements on flip side, and then just be like, yeah, okay, we can take the game now. But it's gonna be a tall order, man. Like, they messed up so hard, like so unbelievably hard, worse than last game, which is pretty crazy because I didn't think you could make a game 30 minutes longer than it needed to be twice in a row. But I actually think this time, instead of just delaying the game, they could have just lost it by what they did.
I mean, yeah, you never want to kind of mess up against this troll, and especially seeing as they've got this Morphling as well, which is doing equally as good. And now we see Troll and Morphling getting to the point where they're overtaking the Shadow Fiend in terms of net worth. And well, with the Ultimate Orb and, well, has he got the other Ultimate Orb on him? No, he's still just an Ultimate Orb short by the looks of it, unless it's just picked that up from the base. Yeah, he's still a bit, yeah, he's just 1,000 gold short from finishing off the Skadi. 25 minutes in on top of the SMY phase boots and the helm, and he's still got the Aegis on.
Super rich. Crazy rich. When he gets those items, the damage output on the side of PR is just simply not enough to kill him. Like, they would have to get him alone completely, ulti him with Juggernaut, and like Requiem him to kill him just once. Because otherwise he just throws out Whirling Axes and it's not the dream. It's going to be real painful. And once he buys BKB on top of that, it's going to be even worse. So his Aegis faded. And they're looking for some kind of engagement here, potentially.
Still got the Invis rune, and Shadow Fiend just getting forced forward by the Batrider out of harm's way, making sure that the slow doesn't catch onto him. But now Ace, Amrise pushing down the lane. They do have the ults back online. Chain Frost is available. Blan heading back into his own jungle. We see Jug and Omni-Knight just jungling aggressively here. Ditchara, he will be about to walk into a Disruptor and a Tide. They probably won't be able to deal with the Jug on their own though, as the rest of the side of Flipside are still in the Radiant jungle. And Disruptor, he's going to be working on that Aghanims after the 4-star. Pretty good item pickup in this situation.
Oh, it's disgustingly good. The thing about Disruptor Aghanims is that you kind of have to preemptively BKB against it, and you really don't ever want to have to do that. You want to BKB on your own terms, not what the enemy says you need to do. And if you get caught out by the storm before your BKB is on, then it doesn't go on. And then all of a sudden, you're having a sad time. And that even goes for things like a Spin, of course, and a Juggernaut. Okay, the Bash Lord.
There is your Bash. And I like the fact that Omni-Knight kind of went into the pool camp and was like, right, I'm out of here. Jug, you're all on your own. And Jug, it was indeed all on his own.
Yeah, but
Rise will go down in return.
Okay.
They find a kill onto the Lich.
I mean, still not worth, because he lost a Jug comparative to a Lich, but... Yeah, the Aghanims Disruptor is crazy strong. Gets great against Jug as well.
And I'd imagine that must be the Skadi complete on the Troll after that kill. Let's have a look. How's he doing? Yeah, that's the completed Skadi on its way out to him now. As well, Baby Knight getting well and truly out of control. And at the same time, Ace as well. You see him with the Manta Style, Ultimate Orb in the stash. Saving up perhaps for that second Ultimate Orb. Are we expect to see the Skadi on Ace?
I would imagine so. The build that he's going right now is just more right-click oriented. Whenever people make Manta, they don't typically go back for E-Blade most of the time because you just don't have the mana. Like you're not using, he's not even popping his Manta to split farm the wave. That's just how conservative he's being with his mana pool right now, even having the Aquila. He just wants to keep a Replicate out at all times in case he wants to retreat, or maybe he wants to keep on with a team to make sure that he can fight if need be. So yeah, I think the Skadi is a nice choice here because the damage output from the side of PR isn't even that high right now anyway. So if you have Skadi on the Morphling, who's already extremely tanky, it makes you nigh impossible to kill. And if you are on full agility with this build, you still have a decent chunk of health.
I mean, as well, 28 minutes in, Blan closing in on the Refresher's Orb, has the Perseverance, has the Oblivion Staff. I think things are going very, very well for Flipside. And I mean, where did it kind of go wrong for PR? And I hate to point fingers, but why was it the Omni-Knight?
Oh god, the bottom fight was definitely where it went wrong.
Mid lane, straight in fact, onto Ditchara. That is your Juggernaut dead immediately. And he's dead for 60 seconds without buyback.
Yeah.
Flipside, they could push the high ground here.
It's very scary right now. This is not what I expected PR to bring in terms of the gameplay. It's been not a great game for them, just in general. Maybe they're just not communicating well. I don't know what the problem is, but here come Flipside, and they are angry.
Fortification will be popped, but They're ready to push. Still 30 seconds on the clock for the Juggernaut. The entire 5-man grouping up in the mid lane. I mean, can PR do anything to stop this? Shadow Fiend at the moment trying to do a bit of split pushing on the top lane. Now comes back with the Batrider with J4 and King R. Tier 3's down. Now the Rex are exposed. They adapt to strike the Venge, trying to keep him back. Repel onto the Shadow Fiend, looking to maybe turn into this fight, but Baby Knight slows him down. Well, just tries to force him back with the ranged axes, and they find the melee racks in the mid lane. They're content with that. Jug's back in 5 seconds. There's no need to stay around really anymore, and they TP themselves out of there.
I don't think there's anything that PR can do at this point. I really don't think they can come back from this. The Tide is going to have Refresher in less than 300 gold. So he's going to have Refresher, Blink, 4-staff Arcanes, 29 minutes in. That's about some of the fastest you're ever going to see, that kind of item progression on the Tide. And your cores just don't have enough. Like, how is this SF supposed to kill anyone? He doesn't really do that much damage. He has, what, 200 damage with Venge Aura? And that's how hard Troll hits, and Troll has like 700 more health. So, I don't know. I think, honestly, the only reason that PR in this position is bottom fight. That it was like... I can't even tell you how poorly executed that was.
Yeah.
That was like a 2K MMR fight.
Oh.
Just saying. It doesn't happen every time, but I'm just saying, like, that particular fight, I don't know. I feel like it wasn't great.
We're being told to, during this pause, remind you of the fantastic contest. You can head over to facebook.com/, I believe, ASUS ROG
Nordic?
Dick.
What?
Yeah?
Why did you have to elongate that word so hard?
ROG Nordic. ASUS ROG Nordic is what you need to follow the facebook.com for. Okay, there's
Somebody
no
laughed in the
ASUS.
studio.
ROG Nordic is all you need to put. Forget ASUS. They're not part of this competition. It's just ROG Nordic. Put that in. You go to the Facebook page and you get to tell us who your favorite hero is. And for me, I mean, as an example, I put Troll Warlord. Fairly balanced hero at the moment. Makes the meta very interesting.
Disgusting.
That's my reasons. I mean, you wouldn't agree, Draskell?
No. That's about as far from fun and exciting as I could possibly think of.
Do you think we'll live to see the day when Troll isn't first pick material?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. I mean, back when people were picking Void and Skywrath every game, it was like, God, I can't wait for Void to never be picked again. And then, like,
Void.
He's picked... What is wrong with you?
You don't miss Void?
How do you like all these awful
I miss
heroes?
Tinker. Do you not miss Tinker?
I give up.
In a couple of months down the line, I'll miss Troll.
It on purpose.
I will, I'll miss Troll.
I won't.
You won't?
Never.
What about Sniper?
Sniper, I could understand his limelight, right? Because he was so crap for so long. And then it was like, all right, now it's time.
Okay.
The Sniper.
Let's come in with the meta predictions. You can make yourself to the Reddit front page in a patch time. Who is the next meta going to shift towards? Who has not had the limelight in Dota 2?
CK and PL.
CK. I think CK is a good call.
Yeah.
PL is already
heroes.
starting to go that way. I mean, obviously, we see teams like Burden United think he's very strong and a little bit broken. You don't feel that he will get nerfed in a future patch? Or do you
mean
think
PL?
PL.
Yeah, I think PL will get nerfed.
Yeah.
But I think CK is fine the way that he is. I think he's just really strong.
Well, I mean, what's wrong with CK? Is it the fact that the ultimate is down to RNG, which isn't great for a hero that heavily relies on the ultimate for team fights, especially with the long cooldown as well?
He's a slow farmer. That's really his biggest issue. Like, he's a hero who wants to fight a lot. Like, Alliance used to pick it, and they used to run, like, Wisp CK a lot, and they showed a lot of success with it. I think they even ran it in one of the games of the TI3 finals, I want to say. But, I mean, it was, Dooney's right there. I could just ask him, but...
EGM will know.
It was a really fun hero to watch because it was constant action. The hero still translates well into late game, has baseline crit. Phantasm went from being like a 20-something second ability to 42 seconds. They buffed it by 10 seconds, 2 patches in a row. So it like almost doubled in the duration. And Phantasm Illusions late game hit really damn hard. So, I don't know. I think he's a fun hero.
So you're
he's a fun hero to watch.
CK will get a decent kind of buff? Or
no, he won't get a buff. People will just realize that he's good.
Yeah.
Looks like the game is finally
I mean, look at that.
So.
I mean, look, he's only been picked in 16 pro games in 6.83.
Yeah, I tell you.
He's got to be down there with the lowest of the low.
No love.
No love at all. And not a lot of love for the side of Flipside if you are a PR fanboy at the moment. 25-15. Skadi now picked up on the Morphling as well. And oh boy, it's going to be a hard game for PR to come back into. Juggernaut nearly has the Skadi complete himself, and Shadow Fiend has got it on his way. Yeah, it looks like SF is closing in on it. So that is 2 of you, of course, picking up a big item, but quite a bit behind the progression of Flipside.
That's the biggest issue, is the cores on Flipside have gotten way, way too much out of the team fight engagements. The Ace was doing so bad in the early game. Like, his farm was non-existent because he was up against that tri-lane that PR used to, I would say, decent success. The whole purpose was just to make sure that Ace didn't get farm, and in that sense, they succeeded. But as soon as they take like these really poor engagements, all of a sudden, all that work that you did in the laning phase is irrelevant. Because the game is no longer about just winning the laning phase. It's, if you win the laning phase, then you have to snowball hard enough to just straight up win the game, or the team with the better late game will come back and all of a sudden just be too much for you, and their net worth will like skyrocket every time you lose a team fight. And if you can't go high ground, then it's even worse.
Ditchera farming as much as he can in the mid lane. Roshan is back up. Flipside heads straight to the pit. Same side time that PR, they're starting to manage to get the pressure on the top lane, heading towards the high ground. Now Flipside, they do send the Disruptor back to defend on his own, but he's going to need a bit of help. They will be able to take down Roshan fairly quickly. That is Roche going down. Aegis on the troll. Now they're going to head back. You see the side of PR, they're able to do a little bit of damage to the tier 3, but not a lot at all. Ditchera.
God, it's so spooky.
Needs to be careful. In comes the Spook Squad. They're not going to be able to chase him down. They're going to head to the top lane. Venge, J4, and Shashlo. Let's see what they can do against this. Flipside, they're coming in, and they're coming in heavy.
Why are they still here? Why are they still here?
Oh boy. Shashlo. Well, here we go. Rise. Is he going to go in with the blast first? Is this how they're going to kick it off? He's, well, TPing out, but the Jade Frost instantly cancelling it. Ravage as well from Bland. Shashlo, he's caught in the middle of it all. He's been left behind by his team. He tries to get off a Requiem of Souls. It's not going to work. He will fall. That is going to be an unstoppable kill streak now for the Morphling. And PR, they just hung around a little bit too long there.
It was a bit suspect that after seeing Roshan die and then not seeing anyone for what, like almost a full minute, that they just decided that with 3 people, it's like, yeah, we're cool. We can just stay here. No big deal. Even like Ditchera, who got caught twice, decided that he should back when he was mid. He's like, yeah, I should probably back. And then the rest of the team just kind of chills out and waits for the last possible second to try to TP. And fortunately for Flipside, the Ryze is in position to throw out a chain to stop a TP. So another really important kill, no buyback, because he just completed his Scotty, which means the Flipside can just push down into this tier 2. Probably not going to be any contention at all.
It certainly doesn't seem to be that way. Baby Knight and Ace hitting down onto the tower. Tier 2 will fall very quickly, and they can continue to go. Baby Knight still does have the Aegis, and 4,000 gold coming up in the bank as well. This is a very rich, a very scary troll. Straight onto the tier 3s, Wave of Terror coming out. Oh boy, it's going to be very hard for Power Rangers to defend up against this. They do have the Shadow Fiend back in 5 seconds, but straight onto the Rex. That is going to be half the Rex going down. They're maybe going to look to do it completely. Oh no, here we go. BKB popped by Cheshire Cat going in, but straight away, look at the damage coming out from the Scardies. Oh, GG. Is that? Yeah?
It is GG though, because they can't win. There's no way.
Well, that's it. Batrider YOLO's in.
Yeah.
They tanked the game, and I think it was looking that way for quite a while in that one. And PR, they just messed up an awful lot.
That was very underwhelming performance from them. I honestly expected them to play quite a bit better than that, especially after their first game. Like, there was that one fight that was a little bit suspect, but it wasn't nearly on the level of fail that we saw this game out of PR. So hopefully they can get their stuff together for game number 3. And flip side, they take full advantage of the fact that PR had a bit of an off game, and they take game number 2.
Absolutely. So we are going to be going to a game 3 this series. And I don't know, the way Power Rangers are playing, it's kind of edging towards Flipside. I feel that if they play the same, if it goes like that, regardless of what the draft is, Flipside should be able to come out on top.
I wonder if they just tilted after bottom. Like, I mean, I totally would imagine like, if after that, like, if they're using like Skype or whatever and talking to each other, they probably were like upset with how the way that went, because it should have just been like a team wipe, and they should have crushed it. Like, they should have just like dominated that fight so hard, and then they get team wiped, and it's like, oh, well, I think we just lose now, and that's pretty much kind of how it happened. And then Juggernaut gets caught twice after that happened in a row for no reason at all, and then it just snowball effect, and they couldn't come back. So I think they'll probably just shake it off, play the next game. So
yeah, we'll see if they can pull it together for the final match in this final best of 3 today. Power Rangers versus Flipside. I'm ODPixel. This, of course, is Young Draskell. We'll be back in a bit for game 3, but first of all, time for some commercials, and then time to go back to our panel. We'll see you guys and ladies in a bit.